All right. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are on this beautiful planet. Welcome to the Inner Circle Live Asian session. I'm your host for tonight's session, Benny Allen, along with my awesome partner, Mr. Ryan Carthage. And as always, we are definitely happy and grateful for each and every one of you being here with us this evening as we take a look at the technicals and the fundamentals to see what we can take advantage of in this Forex market. It's the gift that keeps on giving. So without further ado, let's make sure that we turn off any and all distractions, grab a pen and paper, take lots and lots of notes, and let's make sure that we participate and engage. A little early participation, please drop me a 1 in the chat if you can hear me loud and clear and you are all set and ready to go. All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate the participation. All right. So, Ryan, good evening, sir. How are you?
Good evening, bro. I'm doing well, man. Been a fun-filled day. How about yourself?
Oh man, same here. Super busy, super busy. This is always my peaceful time right here.
Yes, sir.
Peace amongst all the chaos. Love getting on and joining the team. All right. So, Ebony, what's going on? Good to see you. Glad you're here with us. Good evening, everybody. So, let's get out of here and let's go over and take a look at some of these fundamentals. Let's start out with the Forex factory, right? The good old calendar that keeps us in tune with all things fundamental. So we see, right? Now, we were talking about it on Saturday. They were expecting, right? Even though leading up to the rate hike by the Reserve Bank of Australia, which happened at 12:30 a.m. in the wee hours of the morning, at least Eastern Standard Time. We were talking about it this weekend, how there was still a projection of at least 25 basis points, but the consensus was leaning more and more towards them, Australia holding rates. And we could see that's exactly what happened, right? So they came through at 3.6% just last week, right? When you looked at the forecast, it was higher than that. I think it was like 3.85. But the more and more we got closer to this this rate hike, it seemed, hey, they're going to hold rates, and that's exactly what they did. So if we look at the statement, right, it's pretty cool. You can always click on these folders. We have a lot of information now, everybody. It's not like it was back in the day, right? So the information is not hard to find. You just have to know what you need to look for and then go find it. So you can see here that the board recognizes that monetary policy operates with a lag, and that the full effect of the substantial increase in interest rates is yet to be felt, right? So kind of got a feeling this is what you're going to start to see across the board. Okay, you've constantly heard from Jerome Powell, head of the Federal Reserve, that they understand that there's a lagging effect to all of this, right? And being that these central banks hike rates at an accelerated pace, it kind of makes sense that we're coming to this point, right? So I mean, you're talking about record rate hikes in regards to how fast these central banks have been raising rates to combat inflation. Okay, so that's where we are. Australia decided to hold rates, so we will continue to watch what goes on. So we can see here the RBA inflation has peaked in Australia. Goods price inflation is expected to moderate over the months ahead. Growth in the Australian economy has slowed. As economic growth slows, unemployment is expected to increase. The labor market remains very tight, right? So this is that pain that you always hear Jerome Powell talking about, right? So just those lagging effects of rising interest rates, okay, which makes sense, right? If I'm a corporation and the money is becoming more expensive to borrow, right, I may take a less expansionary stance, right? So things may start to contract, okay? Because it's the more and more expensive it gets to borrow money, right? I have to produce a greater return to justify that, right? Borrowing that money at that rate, okay? So we'll keep an eye, right? It's an amazing thing to follow. And like I said, right, the information we have access, right, to the major information. So it's up to us, right, to keep in tune with it. here in the United States, we saw that reaction, especially with the yens, right? And what happened with the market today, you can see the JOLTS job openings came through, missed target, right? The forecast was 10.5 million, came through at 9.93. So it missed forecast. Now, these have been coming in, right, above forecast, these job openings, right? And you continue to hear, hey, we've got a tight labor market. We continue to have a tight labor market. Well, it missed. And you can see here that on trading economics, you can see that US job openings near 2-year low. Okay, the number of job openings in the United States fell by 632,000 to 9.9 million in February, the lowest level since May 2021, and below expectations at 10.4 million. The largest decreases we're seeing in professional and business services, healthcare and social assistance, and transportation, warehousing, and utility. All right, fundamentals matter, and as a result, we see gold, right, is at a 1-year high. Okay, and we posted that in the Discord. We've been following gold for a while since it hit that 61.8 way back, and it's headed to the D extension, right? It's still an ABCD game. It's amazing, okay? And then we see dollar weakness below 102, right? So we know we've been following that right tip of the crown on the DXY from the higher time frames, right? So technicals and the fundamentals. Randy, what would really happen if China and Brazil get the trade currency that they are seeking to the USD? Nobody knows. It's a great question. Nobody knows. We have to see how that plays out, because it would be unprecedented in a sense when you talk about the countries, right, along with South Africa. And what was the other one? Is it Russia? Right? Am I mistaken on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Russia, Brazil,
Right.
India, China.
Okay.
Brits.
And Saudi Arabia.
Yep.
Yeah. So people have been, I mean, that's been going on for decades on end. People trying to find ways around that, the petrodollar, right? When it comes to oil and commodities, being that's what the majority of the commodities are dealt in. Invoices globally are paid in, typically the US dollar. It's the world's reserve currency since World War II. So long way to go on that. So we will see what happens. That's gonna be quite interesting to watch. Now, but right now, the dollar's still king, right? So market conditions, this thing goes in cycles. We will start to see probably the doomsday scenarios, but do understand, if I'm a big money person, I want to see a low price. So just keep that in mind, right? So while everybody's selling off their stuff, people are gobbling it up like Pac-Man on the other end. Okay, so that's the game. Okay, like Monopoly. All right, so let's continue to keep a close eye. But in the meantime, let's jump over to the DXY, take a look at the weekly, and we can see, right, where that bearish crown is still intact, right? So it's a pretty solid price action pattern there, and we're still moving to the downside. Okay, we got weekly support. So if we go down to the daily, right, and take a look at it, it's just making that move, right? It's just making that move to the downside. So we've got some daily levels here, looking like it's trying to push right through. So we get a break and a close at 12,748 level. We're going to look for further declines in the dollar. Will we have times where when it pulls back? Absolutely. We know that this market moves in waves that shouldn't surprise us, but you can see that is playing out, right? So if we take a look at the pattern and we just pull that fib straight down, you can see right where we came in, just about a 50% pullback and then a move to the downside. Right? So the key is, hey, if we close below daily support, see if it continues to head down to this weekly support level. Okay, so that's the DXY. We're seeing declines in the dollar. We saw a jump. We saw that yen gain some strength today due to that report coming out for jobs opening, that jobs opening report. And that's where we are. Okay, that's where we are. Any questions on the dollar or any of the fundamentals so far? No. All right. So 10 o'clock, right? Top of the hour. 10 o'clock, we've got New Zealand official cash rate statement coming out. Looks like a 0.25% rate hike. Okay, so we'll see what happens. Of course, we always know we have things already being priced in ahead of these meetings, expected 25 basis points, and then we have the rate statement and the forward guidance. That's what's more important in regards to the tone that Governor Lowe will take this evening. And that's how we'll close it out. And then we're moving into the 5th on Wednesday. Of course, precursor to the non-farm payroll on Friday, we've got ADP, non-farm employment change, private sector jobs expected coming in at 208, so lower than previous. And then we got ISM manufacturing services. We'll see what type of number we get there. Slightly, it's projected to be slightly down to 54.3 from 55.1. So this is all going to be interesting. Then, of course, on Friday, Good Friday, we got on Thursday, Thursday, we've got Canadian numbers, right? It's not on the same day as the non-farm payroll this time. So that's on Thursday. So look for some volatility with the CAD, employment change, employment rate, and unemployment claims. And then on Friday, Good Friday, we've got non-farm payroll. So that's going to be an interesting one. We don't trade it, right? Especially when you got it during a Good Friday, where you can have less liquidity in the market potentially. So that's gonna be one to watch and journal to see how that plays out. Okay, and that wraps it up on the fundamental front. So let's take a look. Let's start out and take a look at that gold setup, right? Because we've been tracking it for quite some time. You're thinking about closing everything out? Yeah. Yep. Because you may have some liquidity issues. It's weird these days. That's why I say it's one to watch and journal coming into Friday. We take a look at gold. Right, been tracking it for quite some time, right? If you follow the newsletter, and you can see we've got that ABCD wave that's continuing to push, right? So no surprises there, right? We had a weekly support at 1804. Strong weekly support on the daily. We got a double bottom type of price action set up there, and it just accelerated, right? We were talking about this flag on Saturday and the expected move up, and we broke that 2010 level, and we're not far from this D extension, right? So if you've been taking that trade, if you're a gold trader, congrats if you held it. So if you took it, great. If you didn't, it is what it is. It's cool. Journal it, right? And see what you can do the next time. So we are still bullish on gold. So technicals and fundamentals aligned on that one. And we are pushing towards that 2051 level. We've got that extension right before the 1.618, which is what's that? Okay, there it is. 2053. So just shy 2051 or whatnot. But that's the target. So we are good on that, right? So we know from before, right? We tracked it. Right? We came in here. This is from a while ago, right? Matter of fact, let me go over to the Discord. And I think, let me see, the newsletter might have been 7 or 8. But we've been tracking it every week. Let me see. Canadian dollar. We go down, crude oil, take a look at gold. Yep, there was that initial moving up, and it's been jetting ever since, right? So that was like March 11th or whatnot on that 4-hour swing, right? That 80-20, and you can see how it's just been straight beast mode ever since, right? So there was that 80-20 swing, and it's just been pushing on, right? So that's just a zoomed in view of what we already spotted, right? So that's just good confluence. You got an 80-20 off the fib coming into weekly support, right? And we got the bounce, okay? So really, really nice setup. Really, yeah, lost track of it. I know it. Well, it kind of, right here in this zone, right? It starts getting shaky, right, and consolidating, and then it continued along this path. So that was the gold setup. That's going to be a daily D extension hit. So where are we at on the weekly on this gold trade, right? So we're getting up near some highs, right? So if we zoom out, look at that. That's a pretty strong move. That's a pretty strong move. Any questions on gold? No. All right, so we got that covered. We stick with commodities. Let's take a look at crude oil. And that one's continuing to move long, right? So if we come in here, we take a look at the weekly, we're pressing right back up into those levels. So it's been a good swing, right? So this is a monthly level. We close out this week bullish. That's going to be a new support level there for the weekly. And we're just running long, right? We're just running long. Go back the 7, and tracking all these for quite some time. And these are just long swings, right? So it's good to track them throughout the weeks because they're swing trades, right? And so that's why we say we trade small and we look to accumulate positions, right? So you can see here where it was just consolidating and it was starting to bottom out. As we come through the weeks, we come to here. You can see where off that bullish move. Let me scroll down and find it here in the newsletter. What was this? You can see, right, how we just drew up, right, this swing. What was that? The 25th. Okay, so if you come here where we're tracking it, you can see you go down from the daily to the 4-hour where that move occurred. You can see the swing. Okay. This happened with my charts, but no. I did it on here or something, but just lost my markup. But you can see right off that swing, right? So you see that swing position there, right, on the 4, where it made progress, right? So it held within that AB boundary and it's been moving long ever since. So now on the 1, we've got a new, right, AB boundary here on oil. Okay, so fundamentally we knew we had the surprise, right? Coming out of the weekend that OPEC decided to cut supply. And so we saw it technically first, the new AB boundary on that 4 to the downside and that potential swing. And then you just had the fundamentals that come through to support the narrative for the bullish move, right, on that correction. So that's where we are. So if you got potential increased demand with a supply shortage, you're gonna move bullish on that oil price, and that's exactly what's going on. So we're in the middle of a new ABCD wave sequence to the upside on the 1 hour. Any questions on oil?
No, sir.
All right. So we put up on our April 1st edition of the swing, we had a trade in here that we felt was a pretty hot setup at the end. So this was our trade idea, right? So 80-20 buy on the 15 to retest the backside of the trend line for a high price before the bearish continuation, right? So we were tracking that crown. So if we go and take a look at the Euro JPY, we see how that played out. went a little bit higher, right, than that trend line, but ultimately we got it to come through on the swing here. Okay, so you can see how we got through 2 TP levels. It went right, broke through, hit TP2, went a little bit higher, but then we got the bearish continuation on that, right? So far so good on that Euro JPY play, because if we come out to the higher time frames, right, if we look here on our one, we can see us doing the dance, right? So you can always go down to the lower time frames and find a potential setup. So we spotted that crown formation. Okay, so now we're getting that continuation. We know we don't have a 382 yet here on this 1 hour fib. So the potential, right, even though it's moving around, ranging a bit, is for it. If we start to get some downside pressure, some selling off, we can get to that 382 target. But that was the setup coming into the week. So congrats if you took advantage of that setup. Any questions on the Euro JPY?
No, sir.
All right, so we've got the what was that on? What's that? We were looking at, that's the latest. I know we had on the 30th, we had the pound dollar set up. What's that? 3:30. That was late. What was that? 11:30. That one played out, then it went on a continuation, right? So these are counter trend moves, right? Those B to C moves. So we take a look at the pound dollar setup, you can see where, right, we have mapped out this range, okay, price action bouncing around, okay, and you can see from today, jobs opening report comes out, we've got that push, that bullish momentum, more dollar weakness, which falls in line with the bearish crown. So you can see here where we caught it on the one, you got that correction, went through 1 TP level, almost a TP2, right? We got to that 50% and then it just accelerated, right? So we got the TP1 target on that, and then we moved, right? It's on that, it went to that C to D push, right? So it didn't quite, for me to get long, right? I know typically, right? When a trade plan, we like to get long in this zone here, okay? That's 61.8 or deeper, and you can see we didn't get there, right? We do trade 50% with structure if we see major structure, which did have 2 4-hour levels, but that's something that I wasn't keeping an eye on either. So missed that C to D push move, but we did get TP1 on the pound dollar, so it continues to move bullish as a result of dollar weakness. Any questions on the pound dollar?
No, sir.
Good. All right. Another one we had was, and this one is twofold. So we had called it, can't remember, we had went over it during one of our sessions or called it during session. I can't remember, but this the pound Aussie, I'm pretty sure we posted it. I don't think I'm scrolling past it. On the 15-minute. Okay. The original right swing, right? Some of you probably remember because you probably took it, was here on the 15-minute play, 80-20, bang. Shallow retracement less than the 382. That went through 2 TP levels. You had a TP3 marked at the 8 boundary, right? You got that one too. And then we just continue to swing bullish, okay? Aussie weakness, pound gains some strength, markets are rallying. If we come into the one, right? The latest move has been this pound Aussie swing. So if we go to Discord, you can see here Ryan has this set up, right? On a 15-minute, for the pound Aussie. Okay, you got it on a 1. Here's the 1 hour correction. Here's the 15-minute move here. Right, you see that swing there. So this is exactly what we're looking at. All right, boom, and that's coming right on down. Right, coming right on down. So new AB boundary, 118, 127 zone after the shallow retracement, 382, 61.8. You don't hit that D, we're in business. All right, we're in business. You see, here's that D extension. There's the short. So it did the dance, everybody. But now, right, it's going exactly where we needed to go. So out of that zone, this is why we don't worry about the drawdown. Why? Because if we measure our risk out, if you took it at that 127, I already know what my stop to that D extension is 53 pips. I'm going to take my risk 1%, 0.5%, 2%. I'm going to divide it by the risk. So if this trade doesn't go my way and I get stopped out, I already know before I take the trade, my potential loss is 1%. Right. So now I'm gaining to the downside. Okay. So when we swing, we're not concerned about drawdown. We've already calculated our risk before we took the trade. If it doesn't hit that stop loss, we stay in the trade. And you can see that it danced all around. And just like that, you called that, Ryan, what time is that? 12:15, right? So now, right, we're looking at, hey, can we get that 382? We're already down. Hold on. Sorry about that. So we're already down 50 pips or so. Okay. Everybody see that work? Drop me a 1 in the chat. That's not hard, right? It's not a hard concept, especially if you're using Smart Trader, which we highly recommend because it's setting the fib up. It's setting the fib up for you, right? It's setting the fib up for you. So you've got a 80-20 swing here. Okay. You got an 80-20 swing here to your 382 that got you 76. TP2 got you 103. TP3 146, almost 150, and now we're swinging to the downside. Market goes up, down, and sideways, right? So at the end of the day, you're bullish. If you're bullish on this Aussie, this is a correction. This is a B2C move. When we get the low price, now because I'm seeing the 80-20, whether I take it or not, I also have my radar on it. Why? Because it can establish a new low price. And if my buyer is bullish on this pound Aussie, then once it hits my zone, I can look for opportunities to get long, right? If I get the proper confirmations. Okay. It's multiple ways to skin the cat. All right. And that is on this potential 100 pip move on a 15-minute chart. Okay. It happens, right? You just have to learn how to frame the market out. Okay. So that's that on the pound Aussie right now. Here we are. So we know, right? It's been extremely bullish. But when you zoom out, you can see we don't have an 80-20 here either. I mean, we don't have a 382 here either on this, and we're overbought. So when we get on this 15, we just don't jump in at this 61.8 level, knowing that we know that. We need to see further evidence that that's going to hold. If not, that may continue down and take that A out on the 15, because higher time frames control the lower time. Okay. So let's see, right? At least maybe back to 182. Maybe it takes back all of that bullish momentum. We don't know, right? But we're on the right track. We're on the right track. Okay. So congrats if you took that trade, right? Congrats. Even if it's in a demo. Don't matter. Don't matter. All right. So Euro GBP. This is a move here. We actually missed the initial thrust on the 1 hour today, but there's an area of opportunity for like a correction, 80-20 correction or whatnot. So this was the initial move, right? That bullish move off the one, okay, today that we saw. So we got the reversal, but what that did is it led us to the lower time frames to say, hey, wow, we've got this, and this is just continuing to accelerate. So we got the initial move. This is a 5-minute chart. We got the initial move down, right? But it bounced off that 236. Now we're back above this 87.71 level. We'll see if it holds, but we broke out a trend line, right? So this was that initial swing today that we missed, but we're thinking, hey, potential 80-20 opportunity here. Or if you're bullish, we were thinking, man, if we can get that correction, right? Put everybody in the group, put their eyes on this, because if we can get that correction back down with that explosive move to the upside, potentially it puts us in a position to buy. But we all know that Euro GBP can be crazy. And as much as I say I'm not going to trade it, I continue to look at opportunities. So, so that's the right, Joy. But that move here today, I was mad. I missed that. Like, man, I saw it coming and settling down, but it missed that inner trend line break. That was a good little move there. But hey, you never know with the Euro GBP. If we don't get that D extension, it's a 5-minute chart. If we don't get that D extension, you may see a correction back down. So just continue to watch that. What does it look like on it? 15. And we got a 382 on that 15. So I don't know. It's the Euro GBP. Let's look at the CAD, because we were talking about it on Saturday, I believe. Saturday or Thursday. On the 15-minute buy, right, for the Euro CAD. So we look here on the 15, we can see, right? It's the same thing over and over again. Yeah, I think it was Saturday. We were discussing this move. Okay. Right. Same thing. Right. 80-20 zone, look at the reaction. Okay. Look at that reaction. It's a beautiful swing, right? So we got it out of the zone. Okay. That's 100 pips. Okay? Even if you take that setup at the B boundary, that initial trade, yes, you're in drawdown, but when it swings, it puts you back in profit, put your stop at the A. Regardless, if you take that initial position at the B boundary, you're measuring, right, your risk percentage by your stop. Okay, that's a long distance swing if you like doing it, right? If not, you may say, I only want to play the 80-20 zone. That's fine. Okay, so that was a beautiful swing. Now we look at this today and we look at the potential for what? A new AB boundary, okay, and the correction. Okay. And the correction, TP1, TP2. Okay, so eventually we may get back long, but right now we're in a correction phase. So here's the B to C move right off the B boundary, because that B boundary represents what? Resistance, right? And we already have prior resistance at 147.55. That's a 4-hour level. So it's either going to correct and move down now, or we're going to get that shallow retracement up at 236 and then come up to that 80-20 zone. All right. It's the same thing over and over, right? Same thing over and over. Any questions on the EuroCAD? No. All right. So the setups are there. So if you're a newer member, right, and ultimately the mission is to help you all to become consistently profitable traders, right? Which this is why we do it this way. So if you're going through the training and you're a newer member and you're still, hey, I'm still learning my top-down analysis, how to run my fibs, whether it's smart trader, trading view, whatnot. We provide these trade ideas, right, to let you guys know what we're thinking about and to also help you along, right? So that while you're still trying to figure it out, hey, take the trade. When you see the trade idea, put it in your demo if you're running a demo. If you had a small account, trade it in the micro, right? Because that ultimately taking that type of action helps you to develop confidence so that when you do develop the skill set to consistently find the setups, you won't have any issues taking the trades because you believe in them. You trust it, right? You trust it. It's your money. You're going to trust it. So the setups are, if you just scroll through, right? Do they all hit? Nope. right? Some of them miss they run. Sometimes the time is off. Like we had I know I posted an Aussie yen somewhere in here that ran, right? But then eventually it corrected. So I think it was this one right here. Right? I think that one, it may correct, I can't remember, but it ran. I think it had maybe made a slight correction, then missed.
I think it was that one.
But it was this one, right? That missed and ran. But then it came, so do all of them work? No, right? But if you take the setups and you use proper risk management, why you can make money while you're learning, right? How to find these setups yourself, right? That's why we do it. So, you know, that one missed, but then there was another one on that Aussie. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that was one that missed because then it came back on the 15. On this Aussie, I think it was a 15-minute setup. Yeah, on the 15 that, right. Sometimes it's just not time. The market's gonna do what it's gonna do, but then the 15-minute, right, came back and it slammed down and it corrected. You know, so all the times we say when you get those shallow retracement moves and price pushes to that 80-20 zone, but then it continues to the extension, oftentimes that next fib that sets up, that's where you will see that correction come. Eventually it'll exhaust, you know. So do you win them all? No, you don't have to win them all. But that's why we stress, right, that the number one priority, if there's ever a holy grail, is proper risk management. It's proper risk management. So those setups are there for a reason. We put out the newsletters and things like that for a reason. Okay, and put those images in the newsletter so you can kind of see that shift from week to week on those longer swing trade scenarios. The other one was that we're looking at now is this CAD Swiss scenario, right? And it's just, hey, there's a new AB boundary. Okay, you can see it swinging. Okay, starting to make that swing. Okay, here it is on the 15, similar look, but you can see where price, right, just likes to react, okay, to the upside, right? So that's the play that it's in now. So off this 1 hour, hey, we know there's only certain things that it's gonna do. It's either gonna U-turn off this B boundary, okay, and go and hit that 236. I mean, hit that 38.2 TP1. Good, okay. If not, we get this bounce off this 382. We push down right to the next zone, 118, 127 zone. Okay, where you can have a buy limit set up, or however you want to do it. Okay, so you have to set that up in your trade plan on what type of positions you want to take based on your lifestyle, how long you can be in front of your computer. You know, that part we can't figure out for you. But right, the AB boundary is that bat signal, everybody. It's the bat signal. So we got this one slowly grinding, moving to the upside. But if it rejects and moves down, it catches that buy limit. Catch that buy limit. Now we got 2 positions open, waiting for the swing. If not, it hits that stop. Guess what? If I've got 1% here, 1% here, I just lost 2%. Half percent, I lose 1%. Everybody see the math on that? How easy that math can be? Drop me a 2 in the chat. That's very important. That's the entire game. It's how you work that math out before you take that position. Right? That's how you can set your position up, you know, and walk away, right? Some of you, you know, you may want to leave the TPs open, and as you move, you know, to a TP1 with your position, say, hey, you know what? I want to take half off, move my stop to break even on the remaining half, and see if I can get a TP2. Multiple ways you can manage that trade. That's trade management. Right? So you got your technicals, you got your fundamentals, you got your risk management, you got your trade management. Okay, those are the things that we want to try to get down. You said you learned it. It took me a while to learn it too, Joy. It definitely wasn't an overnight thing, for sure. All right, so that's the CAD Swiss setup. That's where we are. Any questions on that? All right, it's an awesome way to frame out the market. At least that's my opinion, because say I'm short, if I'm short on the CAD Swiss, I need it to move in this direction anyway. So at least my eyes are on it, my radar is on it, right? To hey, when it gets up to the TP2 area, if my bias is short on the CAD Swiss, then I'm gonna look to potentially get short at that level. So either way it goes, whether you're a bull or you're a bear, right? This is a good setup to watch. This is a good framework to pay attention to. All right. So I wanted to take a look at, since these yen crosses moved today. I know on Saturday we were talking about the dollar yen, and we were talking about, hey man, this looks like a a um a crown that's similar. Where did my other one go? 1 hour 15 for. I thought I had something on the 4th for this guy. Let me see. Yeah, we did. Right. So if we come out and back up, is this on 15 or is this on 4? There. Okay. We're taking a look at this position, and it actually played out, right? Price turned over. Stuff is Ryan, is your chart do this where it messes up your markup?
Yeah, mine has been doing that. I've had some where it's just deleted everything on one chart.
Yeah, that's what happened to my oil chart on the
Yeah.
4. But it's all good.
Yeah.
Yep. So this is there. So okay, so it's not just me then. I appreciate that, man. All right. So we're headed down. So you can see that turnover. Okay. And you can see how this dollar yen is moving just like that DXY, right? We've got that crown pattern. Okay. It's almost looking in the mirror at the same thing. So we're moving down, right? We are moving to the downside of that, right? Down that dollar. Okay. So the rush to the safe haven. Any questions on the dollar yet? We even got it was the climb on that pair. I can take this out now because that correction is over. All right. And you can see that price pulled back, right in that 61.8 zone. And now we're down, right? We broke the cloud. So if you use the cloud for confirmation, there you go. That's what that looks like. Beautiful cloud breaking, to pull back to test the cloud. And now we're moving to the south on that. So 61.8 pullback, projected the extension 129.36. Ryan, it looks like my man that was on Bloomberg a few weeks ago, he said dollar yen 120.
He did, man. I think he's on to something.
Man, these guys, man, it's cool listening to Bloomberg because they bring these, and even though it's fast, a lot of times they bring them on for a few minutes, and it's like they get right to it. You know, he's working in the banks, and he's just like dollar yen 120. At that point, I was like, what? But yeah, 131. That's a ways to go to 120 eventually, but we shall see. But he's right now.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the dollar yen. We'll take a look at this CAD yen. Brian, you posted that too, right? I think you posted the CAD yen at some point.
Yes, sir. I posted that. I believe I posted that today.
Oh, was it today? Okay. Yeah.
I had posted it in the past too, but reposted.
You came and reposted it.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I know I've seen it. Yep, you CAD yen on that 5. So I know I've seen it multiple times. And so we can see, right? And that 5 makes sense because of that impulse, right? To the downside. But look at that, everybody. Right? We've been watching this. So this is your larger move in your swing, your 80-20. Okay. We see that play out over and over and over again. Like that's a monster candle there, right? So the reason why that makes sense on the 5 is because that's been pretty impulsive, right? So let's measure that candle out. That is 113 pip candle. Okay. And you can see a lot of times after those explosive moves, the market takes a pause after those moves. Okay. It takes a pause. So the question becomes, man, Are we setting up for that correction? Okay, so you can see this here, right? So you remember when we were talking about all of this stuff, right? The crown that we went over, the swing, okay? And now here we are. So on the 5 minute, after an impulsive move like that, okay, it makes sense. Hey, we could possibly see a correction, right? Possibly see a correction on the 5 minute. So, right, put this 5 minute chart on here. So I don't have it running right now. Find our cat yen. Right. And hold on 1 second, everybody.
My bad. What'd you say, bro?
I'm there. No, I just told everybody to hold on 1 second. So here we are, right? So this is the 5 minute chart. That's the impulsive move to the downside. Okay. And we want our run our swing, and we can see, right? So we've got a little double bottom action there. So the question becomes, do we get long? Right? That's the setup. Your buy limit activated, had to adjust your stop. Yeah, because it's choppy, right? And we always have to know that. That's a fast move. That's a fast 100 pips to the downside. We're going to get that pause because what? You're going to get that fight between the bulls and the bears. Right? The bears showed off a little bit, right? Push that market down 100 pips quick, right? As a result of the fundamentals. So, right, you got your TP1, your TP2, and we see if we get the takeoff, right? Now, I like to, when I'm not trying to get that perfect entry, like I always say over the years, right? You just evolve. It's just like, man, that can wear you out. I'm just gonna trade small, let that trade swing, right? So as long as it doesn't hit that D, I mean not that D, that 1.618 D extension, then we look for price to reverse. Right? So if we're gonna get a further move down, we want to move to a high price and then it gets short. If, hey, the market got spooked today, job openings number, okay. Second, chart's freezing. Reset it. All right, another one. There we go. Get that out of there. Come back to our cat yen. All right. So if, clean this up a little bit, these last setups. So if this is going to, right, go either way right now when you're trying to make that decision. On a 1 hour, we got a nice low price. So think about it. We posted that 5 minute setup, zooming in on this impulsive leg. But we know that we are technically from the 1 hour in the sweet spot. Okay. So yep, we had a flight to safety today because of the jobs openings. But if we continue to see a bullish move in oil, that favors the Canada. Okay. We know from a monetary policy perspective, the Bank of Japan has done nothing, right? As a matter of fact, we've seen inflation, right, tail off a bit in Japan. So that really gives them an incentive to do nothing in regards to rate hikes or anything in Japan, right? This is gonna let the free market play out. So this move today from the reaction from the jobs opening report, this could give us our low price to get long, right? So that 5 minute move that was posted, right? That quick setup, can evolve into a longer trade. So we're in a 786. This could be setting us up. That 5-minute setup could be giving us a beautiful entry for a C to D move on a 1 hour. So, right, even though we're moving on the 5 to TP1 and the TP2 takes that out TP3, ultimately that long-term extension can be 167 pips away. Everybody follow me on that, right? You see here, this initial move. So what this ends up being is a ridiculous good entry for a potential longer C to D move on your higher time frames.
And bro, if the Canadian dollar does continue to gain strength, you still got an 80-20 on the higher time frame also on your daily.
Daily. Yep.
Longer term scenario, but
yeah. So there's multiple plays, right? That could come off of it. So you just have to manage the trade. See, that's what Ryan's talking about there. Okay. And oftentimes you get that, like, man, this could do multiple things. I'm looking at the 4, right? Where I can get a deeper correction on the 4. It can get long. Oftentimes that happens, right? When you got, see how it's ranging here? It's a little choppy, right? And now we're getting that correction. So there's multiple ways it can go. The bottom line is for right now, in this short term, in this move right here, that move makes sense, right? Whether it's for the longer term continuation or this is just a pullback for a further move down, respecting this 4 hour, right? So you play out either way right now, right? But this is the right position to be in. Any questions on this CAD yet? Right. Multiple options there, right? Moving through the time frame. So awesome one to look at, awesome one to study. It'd be interesting to keep following that one and see how it's going to play out. Want to take a look at this Aussie dollar, which is just creeping along, everybody. My goodness, what a mess. But, right, we have right here, okay, past resistance becoming future support, okay? So the narrative of it still moving to that 382 is still intact. Why? Because we haven't hit that D. Right? Haven't hit that D. So maybe by the end of the week, we could get to that TP1. But it's been quite the journey. It's been quite the journey. So that's that. Ryan, any other setups that you are looking at? I know we went through a lot fast tonight, everybody, but I wanted to get through those scenarios that we've been trading, and some of them take a while.
The only other one is that pound yen. That pound yen.
Yen. Look at that.
And I forgot to post this one. And it already moved on the lower time frame, but on the higher time frame, you got deep retracement. And if the yens do gain strength, we could be in for a longer term move to the downside.
Okay, to come back down on that.
Yeah. So if you go to the daily, you got a 618 retracement. Run the fib off the high.
Oh, I see what you're talking about. Okay, that's kind of stuck in that zone, huh?
Yeah. So even back to that 158, it was a 158 250. That support level, you got like 600 pips to the downside. It just goes to the bottom of the range.
Yeah. I like that. It's definitely overbought. And it's respecting that 165.95, that weekly level, right?
Yeah. So that's the only other one I'm looking at to the downside. Yeah.
Okay. Let's we got like 3 minutes before. Let me let's do this. Add GT CAD. Let's set that up on the. No. Let's see the. Let's do this. GT CHF 15. ZD PY 15. SD. Do D. Do Euro SED. And we've got right. We got a rate statement coming up. Oh. Lord, my goodness. What in the world? Well, hey, it's always good to see how fundamentals move the market. So, what was this? 5.25. What?
Ooh. Oh, wow.
There you have it, folks. Right? Fundamentals matter. Fundamentals matter.
Interesting.
Sure. So I wonder if they're gonna be, man. Well,
5.25. Well, Joy, there you go on that. Is that we're looking at earlier? No, the Euro NZD. Can you check that one? We're looking at the Euro NZD early this morning.
Let me go look. I ain't looked at my charts for the rest of the day. Let me go see.
That one.
Well, look at that.
There you have it.
That's on the 4.
See what
That's
that
the
reaction
1.
is. That's a long wick.
Man, oh man, oh man.
Just that support though. Oof.
One hit my stop and profit, but one is still in play.
All right, so that one's been ranging. All right, so we were talking about that. To clean this up. We had that one in the rectangle, right? On Saturday, we need a catalyst, right? We kept talking about that. What's the catalyst gonna be? So this thing is messing my stuff up. Well, so it's moving down, broke that range. That's pretty cool.
What that EJ doing though?
Good. Not too much.
Oh,
Not too much
okay.
as a result. Not too much as a result. Let me see. So we looked at that.
I'll be interested to see how the Aussie pairs or the Aussie crosses respond.
Yeah, that was just testing trend line.
Now my question is, what time was that candle? You on the
Which
4
one?
hour?
This one?
That candle, was that the 9 o'clock candle?
Yeah, that's your 10 o'clock candle there.
It's just
10
10 o'clock. That's right at 10.
Oh, wait a minute. So I guess I got my alarms off wrong because I got it for 9, 12. Never mind. I guess I don't know what I'm doing. I'm an hour early.
It's all good. This is just a range. This is all
Yeesh.
choppy. Yep. This is just a range for the most part. So that what I yeah, that's just ranging. So it's pretty much respecting support somewhat. That's just a choppy mess anyway. Not too much to make out of that. But it broke that down move here that it was making those right? Broke that move to the downside. Reversal. This is just still moving sideways. I wonder if we're gonna break and close that 57.57 level. That's done nothing. That one's just stalled. It's sideways, so we'll see. That's a longer term swing there.
These be the candles that sit up there and take you out your range when you set the chart up and you ain't looked at it in a minute, and then you come back like, where that candle come from?
Yep. So that one's, I mean, that just falls in line with what it's been doing, just ranging. So good immediate impact. I wonder what the continuation on that is going to be. Maybe probably find out come London or
Yeah.
tomorrow. You still in the GCAD?
Okay. Yeah. It looked like it's moving slowly but surely.
I know, right? That's cool. That's cool though. That's all right.
Good work.
That's really good work. Now this one's falling in line, right? This one's falling in line on that swing to the upside. That's real good work. You know, you can develop that patience early on. That's huge. You know, that's huge if you could develop that early in the game. That's what plagues most people is just a lack of patience, which is cool as long as you know it and you work at it. You know, so that's continuing. So that NZD is a good long. Still, and then this NZD dollar, that's just a continued beautiful swing. Right? To the upside. Look at that. I just hit that A. I mean that D extension. All right. So we just posted that one in the newsletter. That swing to the upside right there. So it just continued along that trend line. Look at that. We well, everybody, that's the game. At the end of the day, the market still moves in waves. ABCD, right? Fundamentals oftentimes just pushes us faster in a particular direction. But yeah, that was pretty cool to watch. Dang, they went 50 basis points. I wasn't expecting that. On
Is
I
this
would
the
just
point
keep
to
it
where
in.
you have to humble yourself and not be mad that you ain't take the trade, and you just gotta
Oh yeah,
understand that you the bug or the windshield, and you gotta be grateful.
that's it. That's it, man. And proper risk and proper risk management, man. And hey, you can't take them all. You can't take them all. So it's another good trade around the corner. Ryan, what you got for us, man, before we wrap it up tonight? Good session, everybody.
Man, great session, bro. Continue to be patient and like Benny said, right? Especially those that are newer, but also those that have been with us a while, right? As you're developing those rules for your trading plan, begin to implement those. Begin to implement the setups that we post, right? Because the repetition is what's going to start to develop that muscle memory, if you will, right?
That's
But
it.
you'll also be able to start to feel what it feels like to take these trades, demo account or live account, small lot sizes, so that you can understand what it feels like. And then as you get your rules in place and as you start taking your trades, now you understand what the feelings are and you're able to navigate them differently than you would if you've never taken a trade before. Right? So use it as training wheels. Great session, bro.
Appreciate it. Hey, that's it. Glad to have everybody on here. Thanks for hanging in. I know we went a little bit over, but hey, we look forward to seeing everybody tomorrow morning, 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the pre-New York prep session with my awesome partner, Mr. Ryan Carthage. Have a great night, everybody.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Welcome. Have a great night.